This video was sponsored by ASYNC.
Okay, so what I'm riding on today is what I'm going to be calling the Tesla e-bikes, just because of how smooth it is, how natural it is to feel, and just the overall ride. So this is a prototype version of the ASYNC H7 e-bike. So you might remember them from releasing their A1 bike, which looks really dope, but that's more of like a moped type of style bike. But this one looks a little bit more like your traditional bike, but as you can tell, this thing does have a super futuristic look to it, but it still blends in well on a bike trail like this. I'm out here right now in Forest Park in St. Louis getting my ride on, so I don't feel too uncomfortable riding this like I would maybe like the A1 or some of the other motorcycle style looking bikes. But the cool thing about this bike is that this does have a carbon fiber frame, and weight wise you're looking at the frame weighing in at 5.7 pounds and the handlebars weighing in at 1 pound. Now I don't know exactly how much the battery weighs right now, but generally, this is going to be a lightweight bike, very easy to put up on your bike rack or carry up some stairs and move around. But I do have to say that even though this is a carbon fiber e-bike, it isn't the lightest weight carbon fiber bike that I've used. So it does have some weight because of the motor and the battery, but it's not going to break your back or anything, but it's not going to be heavier than other bikes in this particular type of class. And it does have a little bit more of a forward riding position. So personally, I do like to be sitting a little bit more upright. That's more comfortable for me, especially since I do carry a backpack typically with a lot of camera equipment. But as far as I can tell, there's no way that you can adjust these handlebars up and down or angling them towards you or away from you. So what you see is what you get. And you will be having a few different colors to choose from. They sent over their black and orange version here to me, but I don't think they have an official name for all the colors, but I should be showing you some pictures of how they look right now. But yeah, this has a very nice clean design. Right here in the middle of the bike, you will find a little bit of an open space. And I also missed this, but at the top of the bike, you do have your traditional mounts to be able to place water bottle holders, your bike locks, or anything like that. So it's kind of hidden, but it is there. But anyway, up front, we don't have a lot of cables, so very minimal cables up front. And most of them are going to be internally routed through the frame of the bike to keep that clean look going. All right, so let's talk about the motor powering this beast. So as I said before, this does have a mid-drive motor, but this bike will be coming in two different configurations. So this H7 model that I have here does have the Ananda M100 250 watt mid-drive motor, but the H7XC will be having a 500 watt version of that same motor. And of course, that bike will be costing a little bit more. Now, 250 watts doesn't really sound like a lot, but again, this is a mid-drive motor. So compared to your traditional rear hub motor, it doesn't really need a high wattage output to be able to match some of the same power that you get from higher wattage rear hub motors. And pound for pound per watt, you're going to be getting a lot of power, and just the torque of this thing should be impressive because it has 130 Newton meters of torque. And that's really going to be giving you the torque of a traditional 1500 watt hub motor e-bike. I think this is the most torque that I've ever used on an e-bike, and you really do feel it, right? So don't let the 500 watt fool you. This is mid-drive. It has a lot of power, and this does have the best torque sensor that I've used in an e-bike to date. And I don't say that lightly because the pedaling feels so natural, and the torque sensor is supposed to feel like an extension of your legs. It's supposed to feel like you're directly connected to the bike, kind of like an avatar or something, right? And so I'm pedaling just a little bit right now, so the motor is just giving me a little bit of power. But now when I do want to go a little bit faster or have a little bit of a hill that I'm going up, I can pedal a little bit more, and that motor and the torque sensor is going to react to me and give me the appropriate power as I demand it. And this is what you want, especially for an e-bike that does not have a throttle like this one. So you want that pedaling experience to be really top notch, and you really do get this with this bike. Okay, so now for a quick down and dirty speed test in 3, 2, 1, boom. And again, pedal assist level 5. I weigh around 220 pounds. I have about 15 pounds of camera gear in my backpack, but we're already at 17 miles per hour. And let me start pumping a little hard here. We hit 21, 22 on the bike's display and about 21 on the GPS. And so yeah, around 21, 22 miles per hour is what I've been able to get with this bike. Now, this is the 250 watt motor version. The 500 watt motor version should be able to get you up to around 28 miles per hour. Now let's talk about tires. So the size of the tires on this bike do come in at 27.5 by 2.25. It's really made to go anywhere because it's not super thin, but it's also not super fat either to make this look like a boat when you're riding around. So this is a tire that's right there in that middle ground and allows me to go over grass and a little bit of bumpy terrain like this. and still have enough treading on the tires to feel really nice. And I can get up this hill because of this mid-drive motor. And I feel like I can now just go ahead and transition back over to the bike path with no problem. Oh, and I didn't get any fenders with this particular bike, but again, that could change in the future, or they could sell it as an additional accessory. Now, I should make you aware that if you are turning and your inside pedal is a little low to the ground, it has a chance to scrape on the ground. So just make sure you lift that pedal up on a turn, and that will make sure that doesn't happen. Now, as far as the recommended rider height, they recommend being between 5'3" and 6'5". So that's a pretty good range. And the maximum weight that this bike can handle is 330 pounds. And as you might suspect, this bike doesn't have any rear rack, so this is going to be your body and anything that you have in like your backpack or something. Okay, so we made it to my pretty standard hill test that I do for all of my e-bikes. So I'm going to be starting from a complete stop in 3, 2, 1, boom. All right, so again, just pedal assist only on this bike, but this torque sensor and just the power you get off of the starting line is what you want. Like, I'm pumping my legs right now, and we are around 12, 13 miles per hour. I'm not working hard at all. And this might be hard to tell on camera, but that's a pretty steep hill. And just the output that you get, that responsiveness off of that start line, means that if I am in the road and that light turns green, I don't have to hold up traffic too much on this thing. So I come in at 6 feet tall, weighing 220 pounds, and it took me up that hill with no problem. Now, as far as brakes, the bike that I'm on right now does have 2-piston Shimano hydraulic disc brakes, which I'm gonna test right now. Woo-wee, you hear that? Oh yeah, that's a good sound in the morning. People looking at me all weird, but I don't care. But yeah, you have some really good size brake disc rotors on this thing. So braking is, again, very, very responsive. Now let me test the suspension out a little bit. All right, just went over that curb, no problem.
And you're just getting a front suspension with this bike, and the model they're going with is the Suntour X1 Boost Air, and this has 100 millimeters of travel. And then the H7 XC version of this bike will have the Suntour XCR34, and this will have 120 millimeters of travel.
Really good suspension. It is adjustable, so you can lock it out if you want, or just open it up for that extra cushiness. But this bike does not have a rear suspension, and initially I thought that would be a problem, but ASYNC has said that this carbon fiber frame does have some dampening inside of it that's going to be helping out with the lack of a rear suspension. And I would tell you that, combined with the seat, which I would like a little bit more cushion for my particular taste, has allowed me to get a really good riding experience. It hasn't been uncomfortable. I haven't had to find myself like trying to stand up a lot if I am going over, deep bumps or stuff like that. But overall, the lack of a rear suspension is not ideal. I still would like to see that. But if you are just doing a little bit of like kind of casual off-roading or going to grass like this, I don't think it's going to be as big of a problem as I thought about before. Now, getting back to the seat, this is a seat post that you just have to slide in and then screw it down to clamp it down in place to get that desired height. So you can raise it and lower it to get that proper riding position that you are looking for. So adding some type of suspension seat or maybe some attachment to the seat post, if it's even possible, will be a little bit limited, I'm assuming. Now let's talk about the battery. So this comes with a 48 volt, 960 watt hour battery, and it is a Samsung 21700 model, and this will be giving you an estimated range between 40 and 75 miles. And of course, that's going to depend on how hard you're pedaling, which level of pedal assist that you have this in, because it does have up to 5 different levels of pedal assist, and your weight, terrain, and all of that stuff, depending on how much range you're getting. But that range is still pretty good. It's pretty solid for everyday riding and, going out without having too much range anxiety. But the range isn't even the best part about this bike. The cool part is that this does have a magnetic removable cover, which is so cool. It adds to the overall look of the bike. So when you're ready to remove the battery and maybe take it inside to charge it, you can just take off that magnetic cover and then use one of the 2 keys that comes with this bike to unlock it. And now it does have this little pull tab that you pull out, and then now you can take the battery inside to charge it. So this is a very nice, cool system. And I've been riding this bike around for a little while now, going over bumps and stuff, and this magnetic cover hasn't budged a little bit, so don't worry about that. And oh, let me mention the headlight, because this is a super bright headlight, probably the brightest stock headlight that I've used on the e-bike to date. So this thing will have no problem lighting up the path in front of you at night. So everything is all good with the headlight, but this bike does not have a tail light or a brake light or any turn signals at this point. Will they add it in the future for the final version? I don't know, but right now you don't have any of that. And I would like to at least see some type of tail light and brake light. And this H7 does have your pretty standard walking mode. Just press down on the minus button for a few seconds, and the motor will kick in just a little bit to push the bike alongside of you. So because we're getting a carbon fiber frame with this isn't as necessary as it has been with other bikes, but if you are going up like a very steep San Francisco type of hill, this can be useful. Now, another one of my favorite parts about this bike is the 3-inch IPS display that's built into the top of the frame. So it's mostly kind of seamless with the top here, but it is color, it is very bright. You can adjust the backlight in the settings, but also you use this to go up and down the different pedal assist levels. So you can go from 5 all the way down to 0. So no power from the motor, just your legs moving. Also, you see your battery information right here. And then also it will be showing you your speed. If I was moving, it'll show my speed right there. And then down at the bottom, you'll see a lot of information that you'll typically need to see inside of an app. So you'll see your average speed, your maximum speed, and also your trip time, and even an estimate for your calories that you burned. And even it'll show you the CO2 that's been avoided by you riding this electric bike, and also how many trees you've saved. So that's actually just really cool information. And here's the distance for my particular trip, and also my overall distance here with the odometer. And then the last little thing here is that it will show you the time up here at the top. And the only thing that is missing that I would like to see is maybe the weather information. And to get into the settings of the bike, just press and hold on the plus and minus buttons for 1 second or so. And then now you'll be able to clear your trip information. Also, you'll be able to see your system information. You can set a password if you want. And then also you can choose to set the time and even the speed limit. So I can adjust this down to a lower level. And this is useful just in case you might have like a kid on here and you don't want them going faster than a certain speed. And also you can choose to enable the auto headlight and also choose how long this bike will take to automatically turn off. Also, you can adjust the backlight brightness here from 1 all the way up to 5, or you can set it for auto, so it'll be able to look at the light around you and automatically adjust that. And then the last thing will be that you can change the display units from miles per hour to kilometers.
Oh, and on the right hand side of the handlebars, you will be finding the paddle controls for the 10-speed Shimano derailleur on this bike, and for the H7 XC version that will be coming with an 11-speed Shimano derailleur.
So when I am wanting to go up a little bit of a hill like this, I can go ahead and drop down in the lower gears to be able to help me get up. And let me come in here and test out the turning radius. This isn't a very accurate test here, but I am not the best bike rider, but I'm getting it done here. But this is a smart bike, but I don't have access to the ASYNC app that will work with this bike at the moment. But when you do get this bike and that app launches with it, you'll have things like navigation that you can do, because this does have built-in GPS along with LTE. And also you'll be able to have like the digital key and smart unlock. So you'll be able to like walk up to the bike and it'll recognize your phone is there and go ahead and unlock it. And this will have Find My Bike integration to help you out if someone does steal the bike or you lose it for some reason. So it'll have you covered there. And so yeah, I think that's about it with this ASYNC H7. But now let's talk about price. So the price will be starting at $3,999. Yeah, you have a $4,000 price tag, but this bike will be first available via crowdfunding via Indiegogo. And so when it's on Indiegogo, it will be in the $2,000 price range. I can't tell you exactly which price it will be, but I know it will have a 2 in front of it. Now, in both price points, this still is a lot of money, but you still have to take into consideration that this is a carbon fiber frame, and also you have a mid-drive motor, and these two things alone will be adding to the cost. So the value of any e-bike, especially this one, come down to what features are going to be resonating with you, what features are you looking for, and that will determine how you really just put a value on a bike like this. But price aside, this is a bike that forces me to pedal, which I like, and also has the design characteristics and also the technology inside of it to please a geek like me. So I'm gonna drop a link down below in the description of this video that will take you to the Indiegogo page and also the website for ASYNC, so you can get some more information about this and decide if you want to pick up one for yourself. But like always, give this video a like if you did like it, and thanks for watching, and I will catch you later. Peace.